Hi, third graders, and welcome to your Wednesday, September 30th class. And I'm trying something a little bit different. You're not going to see my face on this, but I've created a PowerPoint. Since we're starting our writing, you're going to hear my voice, and we're going to go step by step because I know you guys are really excited about starting your writing. So we are going to do that today. So I have part of the PowerPoint is going to be writing our first few sentences for the keyword outline. And the second part is going to be practicing our grammar sheets and labeling. So if your moms are able to, it's probably a good idea if they watch this so they understand the process. But we are going to actually start with our blue crab reading. So if you notice that I've put the reading up here, the source that we used in class the other day called the blue crab. And we read that, and I'm going to read through it really quickly, but I want you to put yours away. So I don't want it to be anywhere close to where you are. So hide it in your notebook, put it in your folder somewhere away from you. And I want you to get your keyword outlines out. And I've got the keyword outline that I'll show in just a minute. So if you've lost it, your mom can take a screenshot when I pull that up. So we have here the blue crab, and I'm going to read it. Chesapeake blue crabs are strong swimmers because their fifth pair of legs are shaped like paddles. They are striking to spot with their often bright blue claws and olive-colored shells. The claws on the adult female blue crab are tipped with red. Males can be 7 or 8 inches across, while females are a bit smaller in size. These crabs have been known to eat other crustaceans, including their own species. Recently, dead fish, plant materials, clams, oysters, worms, insects, and mussels. The blue crab's scientific name, Selenectes sapidus, means beautiful, savory swimmer. So that's all that we're going to look at that right now because we made a wonderful keyword outline in class the other day. And here is the keyword outline picture taken straight off the whiteboard. So moms or kids, if you want to pause the video, if you've lost your outline and you need another copy, just get out a sheet of paper and write this up or take a screenshot and put it on your computer. But this is our outline from class. Now we've talked about the steps. First we read our story, then we create our keyword outline. And the next part is the oral retell. And this is really important because this is where you start making your sentences. And whatever sentences you want to put in your story, you tell them to mom first. So if you haven't done that step, I want you to pause the video and do an oral retell either to a sibling, if you have an older sibling, to your mom, to your dog, or go do it in the mirror. But do the oral retell part before you start writing. Now, once you've done that, then we get to move to the first point in our keyword outline. And this is where we are going to begin our writing. Now, we're going to look at those words. And so I'm looking at my words. And I realize that blue crabs are strong swimmers. They've got those 5 legs. So now I want to put it into a sentence. And so my sentence is blue crabs are strong swimmers because of their 5th leg that looks like a paddle. Now if I were to go back and look at that original source, I don't think I copied it. I think I just used words out of my head that I remember. And that's what I want to do because I do not want to plagiarize. I don't want to copy what the other person has written. Now I'm going to look at my next keyword. And this is the second keyword. And remember we put those eyes because we knew that we could spot them on a beach. And we knew that it would be kind of cool because they had those bright blue claws, and we talked about the color of the water and other things we could spot. Now I've decided to switch to first person here, and I'm going to say something like, I noticed that the blue crab has bright blue claws. And that's what I want to put in my sentence, but you might want to put something else like, someone might spot the blue crab with bright blue claws. But whatever you want to put, talk it out first and then write it down. Now let me offer a little clue or a little help here. If you get tired of writing all these sentences, because this is a lot of writing for a third grader, perhaps you could dictate some to Mom and see how well she listens. So you might want to hire her. I wouldn't just ask her to do it, but you might want to hire her to dictate. Now here are some things that you could pay her. You could pay her by doing the dishes. You could pay her by taking out the trash. You could pay her by watching the baby for a minute. You could pay her by cleaning the bathroom. So think about hiring her if you need some help, but you got to pay her. All right, now let's move on. How about keyword 3? We have this picture of a lady, so we know that it's the female. And we have tipped red claws. So I'm going to turn all of that into a sentence that says the female blue crab has tipped red claws. And just as simple as that. Pretty easy. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to keep going. I'm not going to do them all for you. You're actually going to do 4, 5, and 6 as homework between today, Wednesday, and Thursday. And this is where you might need a little help in writing some of the sentences. Now, I will tell you, you may use the ones that I just did. So you might want to go back through the video and pause it and just copy down the sentences that I did because I'm modeling this for you. And then there's the second one, and you can copy that one down, or you can create your own. And then finally, there's the third one, and I will send this PowerPoint to your moms so that they can actually move through it a little slower and have you copy down the sentences if that's what you want to do. But your homework will be to write those other 3. So, and remember, Mom could dictate, or you could dictate to Mom, or you can write them all yourself. Whatever you do, I want you to try to write them as neatly as possible, and I want you to double space. So don't write on every line, skip a line, and we will talk more about that next week. And you just keep going with all those sentences, and you will have a whole paragraph written before you know it. So work on that between now and when we see each other on Monday. And what I'd like for you to do now is to actually either pause the video and work on your writing, or go ahead and finish the video because we're going to do some grammar practice next. And then you will have everything that you need to finish up your homework before Monday. So go ahead and get your grammar worksheet out, and I believe we are on page 4. And at the top, you should see this sentence. So pause for a second and then look and see if you have this sentence. The birthday present arrived yesterday. And what we're going to do is we are going to ask our questions, and we are going to go all through this, and we're going to label it. So the first question I'm going to ask you, and if you've got your worksheet out, I want you to put it in, and then I'll show you what comes next. The birthday present arrived yesterday, and we want to ask what arrived yesterday. And hopefully you put it in the right place. Subject to noun goes over present. Now the next question I'm going to ask you is, what did the present do yesterday? And you should tell me, hopefully you picked the right one, and arrived is our verb. So present arrived. Then I'm going to ask you a couple other questions. What kind of present was it? And you should tell me it's an adjective, because remember, our adjectives hang out with our nouns. Next. Whoops, I went too fast there. Let me ask you the questions first. When did the present arrive? And you should tell me yesterday. And that's an adverb question. So if we find out when or how, then we know it's an adverb. So I'm going to go ahead and have you stick an adverb above yesterday. Then we all know that the article adjective goes above the word the. Present arrived is where we put our slash. And then finally we put pattern 1, and this is my check mark. That's about as good as I could get that check mark. So very good. And if we are paying attention, we know that this is a declarative sentence with a period at the end, which there's not one here, so I need to go back and fix that. But make sure that you know what kind of sentences we have. Now let's go to the second sentence. The old motorboat sputtered unexpectedly. So I'm going to ask you the question, what sputtered? And you should have told me motorboat. And there's our subject noun. The next piece would be to ask you what sputtered. And you're going to tell me the action word, or excuse me, I'm going to ask you what the motorboat did. I'm getting ahead of myself. What did the motorboat do? You're going to tell me the action, which is the verb, and we're going to put a verb right over there. Now the next part is I'm going to ask you what kind of motorboat was it? And you're going to tell me that it was an old motorboat. It could have said the old, dilapidated, gray, orange, blue motorboat. All of those would have been adjectives. In this case, it was just the old motorboat. Finally, I'm going to ask you how it sputtered. And you're going to tell me unexpectedly. And that's another adverb question. You see this ly here? If we have ly words, they're almost always adverbs. So we're going to put an adverb there. And we are going to finish it out by putting the article adjective above the word the. We have pattern 1 and a check mark because we're going to check everything. We've done all of our words. We've put our period. It's a declarative. Here's our slash for motorboat sputtered. So we have this one completely done. And I believe for your homework that you are going to finish up the sentences 3 and 4. So I also want you to practice the preamble, and we are going to say that aloud on Monday. So I will see you then, and I hope you have an excellent weekend.